Hello, I'm John Dennis, the Mayor of the City of West Lafayette, and I'm coming to you via the internet to read my annual State of the City for 2020. I apologize that we weren't able to do this during our council meeting, but due to technical difficulties that made that virtually impossible. So bear with me now as I go through what an amazing year it's been for the City of West Lafayette. And what a year it has been. As I indicated earlier, I had intended to use this forum to discuss how weird 2020 was. But in light of current events, I'm going to give that course of action a pass. No, I'm not. First and foremost, our city is in excellent shape. We have had over $100 million of new development this past year, and our building permits are way up, which is always a good sign. Financially, operationally, and physically, our citizens are provided services that focus on their well-being with the intention of providing a quality of life that promotes public safety, education, recreation, and diversity. But like most cities, we will always share concerns about our physical vitality, our quality of life, and the overall feeling of well-being for our citizens. We also have a great deal of concern about what our future will be and how our leaders, both locally and nationally, will handle the ever-changing needs of a community wherever it is located. In response to changes in the priorities of the populations we serve, and most importantly, in the priorities of our country, specifically when dealing with COVID-19. It is with this understanding that I state what most of us are keenly aware. As a city, West Lafayette is filled with people who are curious and engaged in learning about the multitude of cultures that come together to live and learn here. Examples such as Global Fest, our naturalization ceremony, the Holocaust Remembrance Ceremony, Outfest, and the countless other events that are held specifically to celebrate our uniqueness and diversity prove that point every single day. They shout out to people from all over the world that we are a place that's open and welcoming. But after the events we all witnessed last month, one must ask, who really are we? What do we stand for? Who do we love? Who are those in need of help? What is America in Y2K plus 21? Tough stuff to answer in these tumultuous times, for sure. Anybody with a heart and a brain must have had to have been affected by the images projected into our psyche in early January of this year. The very fiber of our society was being destroyed by citizens who were bent on creating havoc and fear in the most threatening way. Our very form of government was under attack. The images of people forcing their way into our halls of Congress, and the physical attacks on elected officials and those sworn to protect them was one of the greatest obscenities ever projected on our screens. Our historic buildings, our physical structures built to represent our freedom and our democracy, were vandalized by an angry crowd bent on generating fear and outrage amongst our elected bodies of government. And the saddest and most damaging point of all this was spurred on by the now former President of the United States of America. We will all have the disturbing images permanently etched into our minds of an angry crowd of men and women smashing the physical barriers in some of our most historic buildings to disrupt and destroy our democratic process. We all watched and witnessed true fear in the eyes of our elected officials and confusion and disbelief in the eyes of those courageous men and women sworn to protect them. Now, we are all left with the remains of our government that is divided, broken, and in need of leadership and a refamiliarization of what is our purpose. The idea that Americans value democracy, the rule of law, and the defense of human rights has suffered a sustained assault over the past few years. This disconnection has resulted in some of us losing what we value most, our optimism and our future. We have lost the opportunity to connect with other people due to the health concerns with COVID-19. It's more and more challenging now to reach out to people and show them that you care. All of us are dealing with fear every day, and the exhaustion of coping with those challenges is taking a toll on our collective psyche. We here in West Lafayette are not immune to the negative influence of our nation and our world. We struggle in dealing with issues of inequality and oppression within our minority populations. We were challenged by the choices of being a bystander or to be an ally and actively disrupt problematic events of overt racism or discriminatory behavior. One of our most debilitating threats this year was the sense of helplessness and its evil twin, isolation. COVID-19 was the greatest gift giver of that enemy. Citizens who could work remotely figured out how to do their jobs at home, but so many didn't have that privilege and lost their jobs. In a college community, when the students are gone, businesses are threatened and some closed their doors. We were tired, and with good reason. Friendships, family gatherings, people in love, companies, collaborations, hikes, even kids playing in nature, they all have been stained and pulled apart to varying degrees. We watched the fabric of our community get torn apart as we battled and shamed each other over the two sides of the issue that are inherently impossible to resolve: a desire to protect other people versus a desire to have human contact. Instead of mourning and throwing ourselves a woe was me palooza for 2020, I think now more than ever it's time to celebrate our wonderful department heads and to review their annual reports to see all the positive things we've done this past year and the encouraging things we have put in place to help us survive as individuals and as a community. As I do every year, I must commend the work of this council, our city clerk, and our city employees, the women and men in charge of delivering city services with efficiency and integrity. They represent a commitment that runs through this administration, our shared belief that public service is a noble calling. This dedication helps make West Lafayette special. We help our neighbors live a better, more comfortable, and more productive life. The services our department heads and their staff provide every single day throughout West Lafayette have made us one of the safest and strongest large college communities in the country, and you all deserve our deep gratitude and respect. I'm very proud of your hard work and shared commitment to our community. Moreover, this city is what it is because our citizens are who they are. I'm grateful for the ideas, energy, and participation of all West Lafayette residents who have made us a top city in the nation to live, learn, work, and play. As I conclude, I want to leave you with something to think about. Change has become a way of life. We must recall the insight of President Abraham Lincoln on the brink of civil war and fighting the near 100-year-long tradition of slavery in the United States, dating back to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Lincoln looked change directly in the eye and said, "The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate for the stormy present and future. As our circumstances are new, we must think anew and act anew. And so must we. We need to look at our old issues in a new and positive way, not simply for today, but to make our tomorrows more rewarding, more fulfilling, and more compelling because of the changes we make today." Thank you very much.